Hey yo, what's good everyone? Welcome to my channel! Today we're gonna react to another episode of Geography Now! And this time we're gonna check out the country of Luxembourg. And this is gonna be the last microstate I will react to. I think I've done them all. And also the last tax paradise in the world. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments if I'm wrong about it. But I think so. So without any further ado, let's just check out this video.
We are so lucky today because we are doing Luxembourg. Yeah!
Was not available at this time.
Just make sure you don't call it Little Switzerland. Okay?
It's time to learn geography.
Now! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbs. I once had a conversation with a German guy and it kind of went like this. Hey, so what's interesting in Luxembourg? Like, what do people do when they go there? Like,
You
Put
can
money in the bank. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Put money in the bank.
That's pretty cool.
okay, anything else? Like, what else?
I mean, you could also leave too.
Luxembourg is kind of like this curiously distinct nation with a lot of mixed hybrid culture cues that have jumbled up to create what it is today. Oh, and it's like
Yeah, that's true. I don't know anything about Luxembourg. I think they speak German, some kind of German dialect. I'm not sure about that. But the only thing I know about this country is that it's a tax paradise and there are plenty of banks.
super small. You can drive across the entire nation in like 45 minutes. Let's find out where it is on the map now, shall we? You know what's funny? I feel like we're kind of just playing copy and paste because we did Liechtenstein, another rich landlocked microstate tax haven, and now it's happening again. First of all, Luxembourg is a landlocked nation located in Western Europe, right along the tri-point of France, Germany, and Belgium. The country is only about 35 miles or 57 kilometers wide and 51 miles or 82 kilometers long, making it just barely under 1,000 square miles in area or 2,500 square kilometers. The country is made up of 12 cantons, with the capital of Luxembourg City located in the south, which also acts as one of the 3 capitals of the EU in addition to Brussels, Belgium, and Strasbourg, Germany. Luxembourg City also holds the European Court of Justice, the highest judicial authority in the EU. Out of the 12 main towns and cities, the largest ones after Luxembourg City are
so beautiful.
Esch-sur-Lazette and Differdange. The country has one main airport, Luxembourg City International, close to the capital, which is actually the 5th busiest cargo transporting airport in Europe, servicing 3 large shipping airlines, Cargolux, China Airlines Cargo, and Qatar Airways Cargo. Yeah, when you want to make quick cash, you gotta make yourself a transport hub with great international trade rates. You know what I'm talking about, Singapore. What can I say? Now, traditionally, the country is kind of divided into 2 main regions when it comes to populace. The Ösling, or IJsselmeer in the north, which has most of the higher hills and forests, and the flatter Gutland in the south, where about 85% of the population lives. Luxembourg actually used to be a lot larger in the past until 3 partitions happened from the French, Prussians, and finally the Belgians in the 1800s. To add insult to injury, they actually named their largest southern region touching Luxembourg the Luxembourg region. For such a small land area though, Luxembourg is incredibly compact with amazing ancient sites and landmarks and businesses. Over 100 castles, 75 of which were built in the Middle Ages. I mean, there's a reason why they were labeled the European capital of culture twice. Over 150 main banks and many companies like Skype, Amazon, Pepsi, JP Morgan, FedEx, and IKEA have their European headquarters in Luxembourg. So yeah, this place knows how to keep busy with commerce. Speaking of which, some notable sites of interest might include the Luxembourg Catacombs, the old quarter of Luxembourg City, the National Museum of History and Art, the Bakken City casements and tunnels, the Mondorf-les-Bains, Clairvaux Castle and Abbey, Burdorf
so
Rocks,
beautiful.
Parc-Mauviot, smaller castles like Beaufort, Hollenfels, Bourchid, La Rochette, and the Grand Ducal Palace of Luxembourg. Lots of stuff happening in such a small space. Speaking of which, let's jump into the landscape now. Luxembourg is sometimes referred to as the green heart of Europe. Speaking of which, they do kind of have the highest ecological footprint in the world. First of all, as mentioned before, the northern part of the country, or the Ösling Highlands, are part of the greater Ardennes hilly range that extends across South Belgium into Germany, with the tallest peak at only 560 meters, Neef Summit, just 1 meter taller than Bergplatz, which is often mistaken for the highest point, but it's not. Most of the country's 30% forest coverage can be found here and in the eastern Mullertal forest. From here, the important rivers, the Sur, Volz, and Alzette all join up in the middle, whereas the largest body of water being the Upper Sur Lake Reservoir. However, the longest river is the Moselle, flowing along the border with Germany in the east. Whew. All right, technical facts out of the way. Let's see, some other things to note. Luxembourg only gets about 61 days of sunshine a year, so get your vitamin D supplements.
Amateur.
They have the highest consumption of wine per capita out of any country in Europe.
Wow.
Wrong. I challenge you to
What's that? Andorra.
wine off Luxembourg. Fake. Luxembourg. They also have the highest rate of car ownership at about 650 per thousand residents. The national animal is the goldcrest bird and the lion because Africa, right?
Actually, in ancient times, lions did naturally inhabit parts of southern Europe and Asia. However, today,
Wow,
due to
really?
interaction and natural environment shifts, they're actually almost exclusively found in Africa.
Oh, Noah, thank goodness you're here, okay? Because I've been meaning to take a break from teaching these freaking annoying, the adorable subscribers of mine. A triple shot of espresso, okay? You know how the teleprompter works. The audience loves you, okay? Take it away.
You got it, dude. Historically, Luxembourg didn't really have too much going on prior to the 20th century, and it wasn't until huge iron ore deposits were found in the South Redlands that really kicked off their industry output. Today, the world's largest steel producer, ArcelorMittal, merged with the Indian Mittal Company, is headquartered in Luxembourg City and today produces nearly 100 million tons of steel annually. But steel isn't Luxembourg's financial trophy. In fact, the industry has been in decline since the 70s. What really gave Luxembourg a boost was the financial and banking sectors. In 1929, they passed the holding law, which meant that corporate holding companies would be allowed to manage their subsidiaries in Luxembourg for incredibly low tax rates, some as low as 1%.
That's crazy.
Finally, in the late 90s and early 2000s, known as the
1%.
golden age during the online business and tech boom in which they doubled their GDP per capita in only 5 years by a complex system of business and management deals. This, however, did lead to the subsequent Lux leaks in 2014, in which tax evasion techniques were released to the public from a team of accountants. This was a huge deal, which then led politicians calling for reforms all over the world.
Wow, I didn't know
Cool.
that.
Thanks a lot, Noah.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
So anyway, some of the top dishes of the country might include things like fried potato pancakes, boiled
Wow.
pork meat with beans, human-shaped brioche pastries, and kachkais.
Wow.
Speaking of food, are you in the mood for some Luxemburgers?
Luxembourgers! We're gonna have a bit done the next episode. He's so funny.
Luxemburger, that's what you call
Luxembourg.
Luxembourgish is what you call the language and something from this country. Luxembourgeois is the French word for both, but the locals here call it Luxembourg. Remember in the Belgium episode, we talked about how Belgium is kind of like a mix between Dutch and French influences? Well, Luxembourg is like a mix between German and French, but don't exactly say that to them, even though they all literally speak German and French.
Oh,
We'll get to
they
that in a
speak
bit,
German
but
and
first of
French,
all,
okay,
the country
okay.
has about 600,000 people.
I didn't know that. I thought that they only speak German, like with a different, like still German, but like the Swiss German, that is like German, but it's very different from actual German. So I thought it was kind of like that, but then okay, that's cool.
People and is the second richest country per capita after Qatar. The nation is
Wow.
about 56% native Luxembourger, whereas about 17% are actually Portuguese,
Wow, didn't know
7%
that.
French, and the rest are made up of a slew of other nations, mostly Europeans, with a few Asian.
Why are there so many Portuguese living in Luxembourg? I didn't know that. I mean, living actively Portuguese in Luxembourg. Let me know down in the comment, please. I didn't know this fact.
Asians and Africans mixed in. They use the euro as their currency, they use the type C and F plug outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Back to the language thing. Luxembourg is pretty much a trilingual nation. Every citizen
cool.
learns German at age 6, French at age 7, and in high school the language switches from German to French. The citizens though usually all start off with the national language Luxembourgish, which is a Germanic language related to German, but do not call it a dialect of German.
Oh, that's what I just did. That's what I just did a couple of minutes ago. Come on. But I think anyway they're not trilingual. They are can I say fourlingual? I don't think so. I don't know. But I think probably everyone speaks English as well in these countries. Yeah, of course.
They hate it when you say that, even though the two are not that far off. I mean, you get some discrepancies like Vivat versus Warum, Klinik versus Krankenhaus, Pik versus Kugelschreiber, and the list goes on and on. There's websites devoted to this. But overall, the grammar and syntax are pretty intelligible. But it's definitely not a dialect. Overall, yeah, they learn English in school at around age 12, so in a sense, many people might actually be
quadrilingual. Okay.
but all administration and media are published mostly in French or German or Luxembourgish if you request it. And nowadays, Portuguese is spoken everywhere too, since nearly a fifth of their population is Portuguese. Luxembourg
pretty
is
cool.
also a hereditary constitutional monarchy
But why is that? Let me know please down in the comments. But that's such an interesting fact.
with the last Grand Duchy in the world. What is a Grand Duchy?
I have
Keith,
no idea.
explain.
It's like something to do with a duke and royalty, I think. It was under the Holy Roman Empire thing. And everyone was like, whoa, let's just make a big country instead. But Luxembourg was like, no way, I'm gonna stay the way I am.
Dude, Keith, that was actually a really accurately condensed summary.
Dude, it's like whatever, man. You know? Obviously.
Keith, 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 Keith. It's Keith. Oh, Keith. Basically, Henry Grand Duke of Luxembourg has been reigning since 2000. He married
yeah,
Cuban-born
Duke Henry.
Maria Teresa Mestre y Batista, had 5 children with her. His legislative duties are limited as a constitutional monarch. He can appoint the prime minister, ambassadors, dissolve the Chamber of Deputies. He's commander-in-chief of the rather small army of about 800. He also acts as a representative in diplomatic affairs. Him and his family also
If you think about, they have only 650,000 people. You know, the population is about that much. So 800 is not that small of an army.
live in Berg Castle. Now, despite the influx of wealth over the years, they do have the largest external debt per capita, though, at around 3.5 million per citizen. So that's 3.5 million times 600,000 for the population. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, but if your rate of fiscal growth exceeds that of your deficit percentage, your country is still categorically in the clear, technically.
Oh, okay, so they're
Wow.
still good then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's kind of why after all those Lux leaks, they were like, hey, let's follow the US and invest in space mining. That'll expand our portfolio. I swear, these episodes are becoming more and more like a consumer economics course. Culture-wise, Luxembourgers are quite unique in that they kind of have to coalesce 2 worlds of the French and German sides while maintaining their own native one. To varying degrees of devotion, about 87% claim to be at least part of the Roman Catholic Church. They're the last country to have the formal dancing procession celebrated on Wheat Tuesday, the day after Pentecost, in which 10,000 men, women, and children gather in Externock, honoring the 7th century monk St. Williford by doing a 1.5-kilometer hopping dance. Speaking of which, history, this dude in 963 AD basically builds a fort. From there, Luxembourg City is developed. Wars over ownership with the Holy Roman Empire, Dutch, French, and even Spain was involved for some reason. 1939 independence, some drama with Belgians and Prussians, both world wars invaded by Germany. 1950s is one of the founding members of ECSC, the predecessor to what would become the EU. 1980s, money starts really flowing in. 2000s, money really starts flowing in. 2014 Lux leaks, the space mining thing comes in, and here we are today. Some notable people of Luxembourg.
Okay, I know only one. I mean, besides the Duke, I only know one. Pjanic, the football player, because you used to play for Juventus. So he's the only one. Even if he chose to get the Bosnian passport, but he still was born there, born and raised there. So he's the only one I know from Luxembourg.
Luxembourgish descent might include Jean-Claude Juncker, Josie Bartel, the Schleck brothers, Kim Kirkin, Charlie Gall, Giles Mueller, Edward Steichen, Georges Christian, Jimmy Zabello, and David Goldrake, and of course,
Oh, so don't even mention him.
the noble family of Luxembourg. Sweet, that just about does it for this segment. Let's move on to the last part, the... All across the world, you get places like Luxembourg, small yet powerful. And when you are a country like that, everything becomes kind of strategic for the very continuity of your existence. France and Germany are, of course, really close. They give their biggest business and trade with Luxembourg. The people can communicate perfectly fine. People cross the border to either work or shop in the country every day, plus alcohol and gas are usually cheaper. Portugal and to some extent
cool.
Cabo Verde are close friends as they make the largest minority group in Luxembourg. Radio stations sometimes even play Portuguese music and broadcast to accommodate. Of course, as part of Benelux, the Netherlands does great business and trade. They love stopping by and hanging out with their southern friends. However, most Luxembourgers I talked to have said Belgium is probably the best friend. Before the euro was introduced, they pegged their old currencies. They could even exchange them. And the Luxembourg military trains often in Belgium. On top of that, Grand Duke Henry's mom was Belgian, which makes him cousins with the current king of Belgium, King Philippe. In conclusion, it's really no surprise why Luxembourg was selected to be the host of one of Europe's capitals. It in itself is a melting pot of pan-Europeanism with a populace that prides itself on being versatile. Stay tuned. Madagascar is coming up next.
Wow, this was really great. This was really great. I didn't know that much about this country. I gotta be honest with you guys. I didn't know that much about this country. I just knew about the banks and, you know, the kind of knew about the language, but I was totally wrong. So, I mean, not totally wrong. He said that it's not a dialect of German, so I was half wrong, let's say, maybe less than half. Come on. But anyway, it was really interesting. I like this kind of videos. I like to learn about places that I have no idea about. And I hope after this whole coronavirus thing will end, I can travel and visit these beautiful countries that I react to. Because, I don't know, they look very nice. Those castles, they're so beautiful. I like it. So that's it for this episode, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about, which other country you want me to react to next, and I will see you next time.